Welcome everyone to yet another episode of the show. It's interesting the times we are in now. We're barely out of COVID, and now Ukraine and Russia, it is what it is, right? I don't want to get into the politics of, right and wrong. We all know, we can sense, what is right or wrong. All I know is the war may not be called in for, right? It's not justified. But again, it's what it is, right? And as I was thinking of Ukraine, Russia, Putin, and, many other such leaders, today's leader, modern day leaders, we end up questioning, like, why is it so hard? Like, how can they decide such things? And it's easy if you watch news constantly. It's easy to get scared, and be fearful about what's going to happen next. In fact, yesterday only I was speaking to my father who's in India, and he was telling me, that the news are saying that there may be attacks on UK, and maybe UK will get into the fight, and if that happens, you must return home as soon as possible. And I don't know whether it will happen or not, but I know that the news are just overwhelming. They are just pouring and making something microscopic look such huge. And I'm not denying that there are, people not suffering in Ukraine. There is what is happening in Ukraine. By all means, it's not justifiable. You cannot put your head around and say it's okay. At least from where I sit and stand, I cannot. But as I was thinking about it, and I was watching all the news negative, all the news about people who are protesting against, Russia and Putin and the policies, all the countries rallying up to, create policies or, declare Russia as war crimes and all that, which, again, not getting into the politics, is also creating negative, right? And I was thinking that, all that negative is just feeding the monster and making that monster bigger than that it is. All the negative, and if we keep hating, I almost want to say, do not hate Putin, because he's going to thrive on it. That monster, that energy, thrives on that hate. Think of it. You, me, anybody anybody I know, the pets we have, the animals we know, everything in this existence, if you boil it down to the micro level, it's energy, right? To the smallest cells, atoms, it's energy. Everything is energy. The water, the sun, air, the food we eat, everything is energy. And what we are doing, even the speaking, you listening, is energy. It's the transformation of energy from one form to another, and that's all is happening in this existence. It's just from one form of energy to another form of energy, right? And we all have been given every day a limited set of energy. Every day we wake up with a certain amount of energy, and we may spend it all or we may spend it some, but we have been given limited amount of energy in a day to spend and use, right? Yes, we often focus on time, that we have limited time, but we are actually, in reality, we have limited energy. Time is what humans created, right? Time is construct of humans, whereas energy has been given to us. Energy is what keeps us alive. Everything is energy, right? And we have a limited amount of it to spend every day, right? Our thoughts, our emotions, this is all energy. And wherever we focus our mind, wherever we put our attention on, we spend that energy on that thing. So if you are thinking about something nice, somebody you love, something you did in past, or some holiday that you want to go, anything nice you're spending your attention on, thinking about, you're spending your energy there. Your energy is being expended in the form of thoughts and emotions you're having for that. So anything that you think, put your attention on, you're spending that energy on that thing. Now, that could be something nice or something you don't like. Maybe it's food. Maybe something happened in the morning. Maybe somebody said something in the meeting. Maybe it's news. Maybe it's Putin. Maybe it's Biden. Whatever it is, right? Doesn't matter. Maybe it's Modi. Maybe it's Trump. Whoever you want to spend your energy on. Maybe it's your wife, children. But whatever you're putting your attention on, it is taking that energy. Or let's say you had 100 units of energy in a day. You're spending your energy of that 100 units on something, right? That something could be Putin, that something could be Ukraine, that something could be your work, that something could be your family. Whatever you're doing, you're spending that money out, right? That units of energy out. The question is, are you spending it consciously, or is somebody stealing? Right? When news, when social media, when your friends, you're a boss who is bully, or a customer who is yelling at you, or whatever, right? Somebody's grabbing your attention, taking your attention away from you. They are stealing that energy from you because you're not consciously giving, because you're reacting. It is not a response. It's not a conscious response that you're giving. So in a way, it's being stolen. It's being robbed out of you, and you're not even aware. And now let's put this energy into two frames for easier understanding. There's positive, there's a negative, right? Now let's say whatever Putin is doing is all negative, right? We don't like it. Everybody is against it. It's negative. It's war. It's chaos. It's suffering. It's just not needed, right? And it's negative. So all those decisions are coming out of that negative energy. He's creating something negative. And here we are. We're reading the social media, which is being negative about all that negative is being done. And then we are creating negative thoughts that are resulting into negative emotions and more negative. Look how big is the negative getting. If you study science or math, negative and negative makes positive. It just grows, right? It was Putin's negative and this is our negative, and now it's this big. This is why he's thriving on all the hate that people, media, everybody is giving him, because it's just getting bigger. Yes, it may, break at some point. It may just burst out. But right now it's becoming such a big thing. And that is why it is important to consciously think of what you're doing with your energy. Now let's have a radical idea. Actually, it's not radical. It's radical to say it now, but it has been shown and proven throughout the ages. Thousands of years ago, all the mystics and the wise beings that walked through this earth have talked about it. It's written in all our scriptures. Let's say instead of focusing your energy on hating Putin, how about love Ukraine? Or how about sending some love to Putin? Now that sounds really far out to love somebody who is doing all that chaos, right? Who's creating all the mess. And I understand it, right? You have to be at certain conscious level to be able to do that. But for a minute, for just entertaining me, for just this moment, if you just think of it, pain is creating all the negative energy, right? All the mess. If we start sending some love that side in form of our thoughts, emotion, energy, and we just create some love there. So negative, war, mess, negative. Our response, prayers, love, positive, right? When they collide, it's not gonna grow up. It's gonna help bring this negative down, right? And I know it seems so far out. It seems airy-fairy. Trust me, it works. Like people who are consciously doing that works. This is why Mother Teresa never went in a rally against the war or rally against violence. She was always there in a rally for peace. So she was always on the positive sides of things rather than being against something. Because when you're being against something, you're just creating negative. It just thrives on it. That's all these leaders thrive on, right? And the other thing to think of it is somebody who's acting like this, like Putin, is just fearful. They're just afraid of losing something, right? The Putins, the Bidens, the Modis of the world, they're afraid. Why else will you create the hate? You only create hate because you lack love. Lao Tzu says, love is a decision. It's not an emotion. That means you can decide to love. I'm not saying love Putin's decision of war, love war. I'm saying just send love to Putin. What do you do when somebody is sick? You give them love, right? What do you do when somebody is afraid? You give them love, right? That's the only thing that conquers. That man sitting in there is afraid, is sick. Just send love. I also wanted to read some quotes before I end this episode with what I wrote. Rumi says, love is the bridge between you and everything. He also said, through love, bitter things seem sweet. Through love, bits of copper are made gold. If you cannot give love, if you cannot send love, how about not expending your negative energy, emotions, reactions to that? Do something positive with whatever you're feeling. Donate to a charity that's supporting Ukraine. Create videos, create awareness, help the people of Ukraine in your own ways, right? I've seen so many incredible things being done on social media to support those causes, to help the people on the ground, rather than just saying Putin is wrong, all the negative stuff, everything that makes you afraid, hateful, angry. Just don't, for a day, give it a break and maybe look at the things that people are doing to make it better. Help them, by contributing your time, money, energy, whatever you can. And that probably is a better way to handle the situation. So I'll end this episode with just this little piece of writing that I thought about this morning while meditating. And hopefully it reaches you out in the place that it reached me today. Hate cannot win hate. Only love can. Hate cannot cure sickness. Only love can. Hate cannot remove fear. Only love can. And hate cannot create freedom. Only love can. For when you love and when you give love, you are one with who you truly are. So give love, give love, give love. Thank you. All right. I hope you enjoyed the show as much as I did and got some valuable nuggets out of it. If you liked it, there are other shows you can watch. They're exactly what you need. And I ask you to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you thought of the show. Really, I want to hear from you firsthand what you felt, what you liked, what you didn't like. So thank you and see you around.